You start to run fast, and then you just continue running, right? Faster, faster, and faster. And so the number one priority is to continue to run fast. And as you do it, you continue to expand the offering of the product.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. This episode is powered by J Ventures, a community-driven VC fund in Silicon Valley in partnership with Leumi Tech and sponsored by Hippo Insurance, Turing, Upwest Labs, and Hillel at Stanford. A startup all about motorcycles. Meet Uri Lavi, the CEO and co-founder of Right Vision. Uri is a passionate visionary and an experienced motorcyclist. Before Right Vision, he was the CEO at PicScout, which he led the company through multiple pivotal changes leading to industry leadership recognition. Prior to joining PicScout, Uri held leadership positions at a variety of other companies, ranging from startups to multinational corporations in the media, insurance, and homeland security sectors. He holds a B.Sc in software engineering from the Technion Israel Institute of Technology.
Uri Lavi, thank you for joining me today. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm surprised you're not on a motorcycle as we're talking. It's not very representative, I have to say.
Well, actually, I was riding to the office today on a motorcycle, so yeah.
Right. I think one of the most inspiring things that I'm excited to talk about here is this integration between a personal passion of yours and making a successful business. I believe that I just saw on the Jerusalem Post that you're listed on the Forbes 2021 list, and in November you raised $7 million for Right Vision. But your journey starts all the way back from the Technion, and you were involved with quite a few companies. You were the VP R&D and then CEO of PicScout, and really what I want to spend these 20 minutes on is talking about your journey from engineering to leadership, and most recently combining your passion and your business skills into Right Vision. So Uri, take me all the way back to when you're starting out. What is sort of the passion that you're bringing with you, and do you know that you're destined to be now a 2-time serial CEO?
Not at all. I don't think that was the beginning. As all Jewish families, I think the first thing that you have been taught is learn hard, study hard, and then work hard, and everything will be okay. And I think this is definitely one of the cliches. I think that we are, or at least initially, I was living by. But slowly and gradually, as you kind of mature and you really want to excel in what you're doing, I think that's the number one thing that really goes. You want to excel, you want to become better at what you're doing, and you're looking for more opportunities. And then you understand that, there are cool things that you can build and the cool things that you can do. And make no mistake, it's cool, but it's very hard. I mean, every time you're doing that, it's very, very hard.
Right. And so today you're the CEO and co-founder of Right Vision. First of all, where does all that love for motorcycles come from? How do you explain that passion? I do know that there's quite a few people around the world that are really passionate about riding and motorcycles, but I've yet to really understand why what's the big hype about it. And maybe it's because I've never been on a motorcycle myself. But can you share a little bit about your interest in it?
Yeah, look, motorcycle is definitely a cool vehicle. It's a very dangerous vehicle because we need to talk about the elephant in the room, and riding a motorcycle. It's a very cool experience if you do it for leisure, you do it for your pleasure, but obviously, when you analyze how people utilize a motorcycle, especially in Asian countries and some Latin American countries, you find that those vehicles have been used for commute, for last mile delivery. You go to European countries, to the US, it's still being used for the commute and last mile delivery.
Right.
And you understand that there's a big gap between where those vehicles are right now and what they can do, especially when everybody talks about autonomous vehicles and autonomous cars, and nobody talks about two-wheelers. And that's exactly, as an entrepreneur, you need to find a gap, right? You need to find that small place where everybody is talking about something else, but you can easily take something that has been applied in a different industry and find that gap and then reapply that. But you need to reapply it smartly. So that's how basically Ride Vision started.
So you're looking at this motorcycle leisure riding market. You're also saying, but it's not just leisure riding, but it's actually a tool that is being used around the world. It's a tool that has increased its usage commercially for last mile delivery, and obviously we walk the streets of Tel Aviv or in the United States, especially also in Asia. You see the streets are filled with motorcycles, and you realize that there's a gap that while we spend a lot of energy and engineering and R&D on autonomous vehicles and four-wheeled vehicles, we're kind of leaving out this big gap for motorcycles, right?
Exactly. And I mean, rightly so, because it's a challenging vehicle. There's a lots of, so it's not only, so first we found the gap. You understand that you can reapply something similar to that gap. But secondly, you also need to create a competitive advantage. You need to understand that it's not a simple just copy and paste because everybody can do it, right? So the second piece is to understand whether it's really a gap that is hard to build and hard to fix. And if the answer is yes, then and you know that you can fill this gap, then there's definitely something there that you can take off the ground and launch and do something with that.
So why is it more difficult? Why is building a technology for safer motorcycle experience? Why is that more difficult than what's been done for four-wheeled vehicles until now?
Well, there are multiple reasons to it. First, it's a completely different maneuverability. If you think about the bike, it vibrates all the time. When you accelerate, it tilts up and down. You can move your handlebar. You lean the bike all the time. So in terms of technology, you're actually applying lots of transformations in the perceptive environment. And then the bike itself zigzags within the traffic, comes very close to the cars. It's a completely different maneuverability. I always joke that this is almost like a plane, like an aircraft, but in much more congested environment, that you need to analyze everything and you need to predict the trajectories. And then on the predictive trajectories, you even need to say whether it's an alert, yes or no. So it's very, very difficult on that area. And then there is additional segment, which is it's a smaller vehicle. It's very poor vehicle. It doesn't have enough places to put sensors. It doesn't have compute power. It doesn't have energy. So then when you actually sum all those gaps, you realize these are very challenging tasks that you need to solve. So it wasn't an easy decision. Let's go into that gap, to be honest. Together with another co-founder that I have here at Ride Vision, we actually debated that whether we should pursue it or not. And since it's a difficult and tough task to accomplish, we understood it will be a good place to be because others will have challenges to compete.
Right. So talk to me a little bit about that inflection point where you're sitting there with your co-founder, you realize it's a difficult problem, you realize that there's a gap in the market. How do you strategically go about saying, okay, well, we're going full time on this, but what are the tests we have to set? What are the different, limits we have to set for ourselves to know whether we're able to make this through or not?
Well, this is classical steps in each and every product. You start with the customer. So you actually go, and we did. We went to different agencies and we sat with actual bikers that were coming in to purchase their new bikes. And we started to ask questions. So if you have that system, what it will do for you? What will be enough? What you actually wanted to solve? Will you buy that? And after we realized that there is a desire to buy a system, there is a more or less a desire of functionality that we have envisioned as bikers ourselves as well, then you form the initial product strategy. So you understand what you need to accomplish to solve it, to provide that. And then you know that potentially people will be buying that. Again, this is not a research of 1 year, right? But it's a good enough start point that you gathered enough feedback to say, okay, you know that people will be buying that. There is a needed solution and you know how to solve it. And after that, you're actually sitting down and start building the first systems to do it and test it and obviously get the feedback and so on and so on.
How important was it here throughout? And obviously, you're in the middle of the journey, but how important has it been that you're a cyclist yourself, or that you're a rider yourself? Do you think you would have been able to do this if you weren't one?
Yes, I could do that probably with the use with with others, other experts, and etc. But I think that even if you don't have a full understanding of the field, you have to learn it. So even with some background that I obviously had, I still read a lot and invested my time to understand different solutions, options, other industries like the passenger cars, even
Right.
the simple bicycles and etc. So you learn all those points, and then you distill and find out the best strategy. So there is obviously some benefits to that. You still can do it without, but it's harder.
Right. And I have to really understand this, because I think that one of the things that I'm surprised most about this, everything that you're saying so far makes perfect sense to me, right? Riders love riding. Commercially, it's just increasing, as from what I can see, at least with my own eyes. The technology has been proven in other industries, and it's been, proven to be, unicorns and decacorns when we're talking about the four-wheeled vehicles and the trucking industry. And yet, motorcycles are even more dangerous than all of those. It's even more important to have this technology on motorcycles. How come nobody picked up the glove and said, I'm going to attempt to be the market leader on this? Well, until Ride Division, of course.
Okay, so look, I mean, with every industry, you have those gaps. So that's exactly where entrepreneurs thrives.
Right.
So in this industry, I mean, the motorcycle industry is the poor brother syndrome. It's like the younger brother syndrome. They're always one step behind. Both
Right.
there are obvious challenges in technology. So because of the maneuverability of the bike, as I explained before, any technology that comes in, it's not a simple copy paste. So you really need to solve all those challenges. So it takes time. And just give you one example, an ABS, which is a very proven product for passenger car, was initially built in 1988 for a motorcycle, but then it became commodity only in the last 5 years. It took about 16 to 20 years to mature
Wow.
the product from the initial step to here. So it proves a little bit how tough is technology for a motorcycle. But then because it's a smaller OEM, it's a smaller industry, and the lack of money, lack of attention, other issues that they wanted to prioritize, etc., etc. And that's where we got. And Ride Vision was a beneficial of that. We are the first to enter. We are the first to the market. We're first with the product. So this, in that case, we do enjoy, filling this gap.
So as a first mover's advantage, how do you then now as the CEO position yourself to saying, okay, I have to, do this responsibly. At the same time, I do have to make sure that I'm always on the forefront. And I'm guessing that, you are, all the time you have to keep track, okay, what's happening in the market? How are people adapting? People are now realizing that this is a great business. How does your focus as the CEO change as you are, right now the market leader, the first mover's advantage? How do you work on maintaining that?
Honestly, it's almost the same, just with a little bit more prioritization. You start to run fast, and then you just continue running, right? Faster, faster, and faster. And so the number one priority is to continue to run fast. And as you do it, you continue to expand the offering of the product. And by doing that, you ensure that any competition that will evolve will have a very hard time to compete with you. And it's not that I'm not welcoming a competition. It's actually good to have a competition that
Right.
always, makes you to think about what you're doing, what you're doing,
Yes.
how you're doing that, and etc. But as strategically to continue dominate, you prioritize what you want to have, and you continue to run faster. It's simple as it is.
I want to go a little bit 30,000 feet in the air and a little bit higher level about your experience as now a serial CEO. You've seen different verticals within the industry with PicScout, very very different from rideshare. Still, you're in two leadership positions. With your your experience in the military, also as an interrogator. you're bringing also leadership experience from there as well, and this human interaction. What are some patterns that you've observed and lessons that you've taken with you throughout these years that you would advise young entrepreneurs just starting their journey, whether it be in prioritizing focus, human reconnection, strategy, whatever it may be, that you've really harnessed?
Yeah, okay. So I think 20 minutes will not suffice, but I will try my best. I mean, number one is people. Number one is team. Is the ability to communicate. And to be honest, I mean, as when you're a small company, it becomes even. It allows you to run faster. To be honest, it allows you to smooth the barriers, to remove the barriers in communication, to be on top of everything. And this initial team that you have is a team that is so important to bring you to initial milestones and then to continue to grow. So this is number one. As you continue to grow, of course, there is other things that start to kick in, right? But I would say the number one lesson is the team and the people within the team. After that, the ability to innovate and to come with the best product is, in my opinion, number two. Again, I'm talking from a startup, small company perspective, medium company perspective. Because once you become really big, then the execution matters, right? You need to continue to execute.
Right. So when you're looking at the team, the composition, and you've gotten to work with multiple teams, what key figures do you notice, or what is important to you as the leader in building this cohesive team? Is it more about the skill sets of the people? Is it more about the vibe, the culture that they're creating? Because obviously every group of people that you'll take, or every combination of people that you'll create, will have a different working environment and a different vibe. So what have you seen as a differentiator between successful units of teams versus unsuccessful ones?
Okay, so up to 20 people, I would say it's almost everything is possible. I mean, you can bring almost anybody, and because you have that personal interaction and you work together, and you have out of those 20, X number of people that are always pushing, they are always engaged, they with a lot of energy, things will be more or less okay. As you continue to scale, you need to find those people that have that positive energy all the time, but not in a bad way. I mean, you can always find a person that is always positive, has lots of energy, but it's just not in the right place. So you need to have that hard worker person with an energy that continues to deliver and continues to figure out what to do next. And we have that notion in Hebrew, big head, right? It's like, but that's it, right? I mean, with that positive energy of thinking, there's so many tough and difficult pieces that will be happening to a startup as a team, as a founder, and you need to maintain some of that positivity all the time, despite all the hardship. And the people that you bring, if they continue to be more or less like that, that will continue to be executed and scaled even beyond the 20 people to 40, 50, 60, 100, etc. After 100 people, there is another thing that you need to do in the organization. So, there is a rule of tribe. I don't know whether you covered that in the past, but up to 120 people. Yeah, okay. So there's a research that has been done that a company under 120 people still acts as a tribe. So a leader will be knowing everybody almost by name. There will be some sort of interaction. So the company will be more or less okay. After 120 people, a company usually loses the focus. Then you have lots of attrition, people leaving the company, lots of replacements, new people coming in. And that's actually a human wired behavior, because a tribe above 120, it's already not a small tribe, it's a village, it's a city that you need to manage. So you will need to scale it to a different organizational kind of execution. You will need to have more leaders in the organization, more people pulling, we'll need to have more communication down. There is another work that you will need to apply.
I love it. Uri, I think that first of all, what you're doing with with Ride Vision is amazing. I think beyond the cool features that it provides to the rider, it provides a sense of security. It provides the security with the incredible features that you have. And I also just really appreciate the technological barriers that there are here. That it's on a different type of vehicle. You have to make it lightweight. You have to make it portable. You have to make it resilient to anything that the rider goes through in the ride. And I think that this ingenuity of finding that gap in the market, tackling that gap, and executing it on a really, really great product, having that first movers advantage. And I honestly can't wait to see it in all the bicycles and all the motorcycles that I see down in the streets of Tel Aviv. And also thank you for sharing your insights as to your leadership style and the importance of being in a team, and the importance of understanding really what is your focus and what is your priority. Before we finish, I have to ask you the most important question, which is 3 words that you would use to describe yourself.
Okay, working hard, but with energy.
Working hard, but with energy.
Okay, so that we came with 5 words. So maybe
there's a bunch of hyphens.
Working hard. I don't know.
I love it, Uri. Toda rabba. Thank you very, very much. Best of luck with Ride Vision. I can't wait to see the product in action, and best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Toda.